Good evening, commissioners and visitors and any public I don't see back there. We're glad you're here. Welcome to work session. We're gonna move right through the first page that I have here fairly quickly. It's the things we will address on Monday evening. Chris Grigger's responsible for the invocation. Judy Kerr is responsible for the place of the flag. Of course, Miss Crowder will serve as clerk. We'll have approval of the minutes. Entertain any announcements at that time. And we'll set the agenda. There are going to be two additions to the agenda. One is Budget Amendment 2024 11104F, which is a trash truck for residential services. And then an amendment on Budget Amendment 2024 118-03 from 13,000 to 30,000. Both were addressed in the meeting tonight with budget. We'll offer citizen response to the agenda. I will give a report. I gave a report, state of the county, to the Chamber of Commerce this past week, and I'll do something similar to the court on Monday night. We'll entertain committee reports. And if you'll notice in your packet, there are some appointments to be made. Jeff Gregory is taking the seat vacated by David Baldwin. It's a 2-year appointment to begin April 1st. Under Planning Commission, John Kerr is being reappointed for a 4-year term. And under Judicial Commissioner, David Brown will be reappointed for a 4-year term. We will have no resolutions to respond to on Monday night, but we do have one ordinance, public hearing and second reading of ordinance 302-2024-02. This will be second reading. Ms. Mahan, do you want to address that, or does that need to be addressed, or is everyone on board here? Any questions on that this time?
To be done on Highway 25, and from England to R1, where it did subdivide into a couple of blocks, maybe if it fits, probably just another block out of there.
Okay. Questions? Under budget amendments, Mr. Gully, would you like to address budget amendments we'll be looking at?
I think there's any that we're looking that anyone has a question on, certainly. We've got quite a few coming our way. Three or four of these are grants. A couple of them are just, well, one's a judge salary adjustment that's required by the state. There is a match in that for us, so we'll talk about it on Monday night, being a different way of, it'll be a roll call vote, is the way of looking at that. But there are 3 grants there, an in-bridge grant for fire. I think that's going for equipment. I think it's been for turnout gear. You'll see that word come up a lot, turnout gear. It's pretty expensive stuff. Then as we continue through, anything else that wants to come our way, one that you're gonna see an adjustment to, Mayor McCall mentioned a minute ago, the fund balance 118 ambulance service, that medical staff to PRN. Make sure you notice that it's not 13,000, that is 30,000. That is not an additional money going into that 118 balance. That is just money transferring out of the medical service personnel, which is 55, 130, 131, going from that line item to the line item of PRN, which is a line item we created in this year's budget to try to help out on the overtime costs, which appears to have done a really good job of helping that overtime stay down. We've not yet gone past the percentage we should be at each month. So it's ran well. The next one there, that 131, is just a state aid for roads going to highway. It's 2 roads that were paved. It's money coming in, money transferring to a different line item. There's all that really is internal inside those funds. The one that is coming up, which has been discussed, it's new and added. It is not on your, it is not currently on your packet. You need to add this one to your packet. It is BA 2024-111-05F. F meaning fund balance draw. It's coming out of the 111 fund balance. It was discussed in finance tonight and given a favorable recommendation. Also had the three members of the Urban Service Committee here with us. All were in favor of this move, which is a $400,000 draw from fund balance and urban service for the purchase of a new trash truck. Mr. Salih made mention in a public work meeting in February that this trash truck, which is the door-to-door trash truck, is in dire need of being replaced. He has no spare. He's got 11 and a half years out of the one he's got. He thinks he can make some repairs to that truck that are much needed once he can take it off the road and save the county a lot of money. If that motor goes down, he's looking at 60,000 to 80,000, he mentioned to us, to just replace what's there, but he thinks he can replace some seals and have it as a good backup. It is an emergency purchase. It needs to be made. There is money in the fund balance for 111 to purchase that truck. The reason we said 111, that's urban service. This is the trash truck that does the door-to-door pickup. It's the one with the arm outside, grabs the cans and puts them in, if you know what that is. Currently, when the truck he has is going down, which he's having to do quite a bit of maintenance on, he's having to run 3 guys to run the old type trash truck with 2 people on the back to get cans loaded into a truck. So it's pretty needed at this time, which is why we brought it now, not into the next year's budget. Are there any questions on any of those?
I did have something. If you have something that's like EMS or law enforcement related, would it be possible for you to kind of slide me into
I guess you're referring to the transfer 118 fund?
just any of it? There's like 4 on here that I just like, I don't know.
We'll
If
We'll
there's,
see
like,
from time to
some way
time.
do a little bit of continuity.
we will see from time to time what we can do on those.
Or maybe see whether or not they come through a committee before they come up to the budget.
So note this, I understand what you're asking for. Sometimes everything's not gonna come through a committee before it comes to a finance side of things, just for speed of those pieces.
And that's fine, if there's something, you know, that's quick, but
Understood.
Any other questions about budget amendments?
Did the fire grant for the turnout gear not come through EMS committee?
so, not this, that they've received it.
Understood. Maybe it was, it's just money that's just now come in, but it was already taken care of in committee in the past.
Any other questions on budget amendment? If not, the next item will be whatever notaries that come up, and then we move to other business. Is there any other business to be brought before the commission tonight? Mr. Taylor?
Yeah, I'd like to get it on the agenda for next Tuesday's executive committee to start rekindling the conversations for what is the next step for the jail process.
Okay, for executive committee, is that next Tuesday?
Let's at least review and start planning there.
Okay. Do we need a motion on that? Okay. We'll add that to the agenda to be discussed. Fair enough. Any questions? Any other business to be brought before the commission tonight from any commissioners? Any issues? Are there any members of the public who wish to address? Yes, sir.
At last month's meeting, Mr. Sprague came up and talked about just the issues he's having with the truck. I just wondered if there's been any work done in that regard.
Yep, we're addressing that with Mr. Salih. The solution, actually not a solution, but the 2 options we came up with is, one is not to allow anyone to use that strip of land, which would be ultimately the fairest. But since one of the vendors has been there for a pretty good while, we're going, with Mr. Salih's help, we're going to discuss whether or not we can permit that and allow more than one vendor be there. So I've contacted one of them. I need to contact the other, but that's what we're.
Okay, I was curious.
What,
Thank you.
I'd be glad to get some input from the commission, what your thoughts are.
Well, if both of them could be there, that would be good for both their businesses.
I think it would.
I think the permit idea is probably the best way to go. At least give everybody the same opportunity if they want to take advantage of it, that's on them.
And we do permitting downtown and the park. And so, you know, to keep doing the permit, and I've talked to Carrie in the Public Works and she could handle it. So that's where we're at. Yeah, it is being addressed.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
This may be, in looking at them, I didn't even really pay attention much of how many are set up through town. How is sales tax working through those? Does it come back to the county?
Depends. Depends on where the county business is. You've got, if it's, you're talking about food trucks.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Say you've got one coming in from Smith County, it's gonna go back to Smith County.
Is there a way inside a resolution to make that so that they permitted through Travis County, their taxes have to come to Travis County?
Not that I'm aware of, I can look at it.
If they're gonna do business in town, and our tax dollars are being, our residents are spending that money here, it'd be nice for that money to be coming to.
I've had the same discussion I've had take place, over the last week and a half in a different community. Where a food truck comes in, they're on, in this instance, they're located on a private piece of property, on a public property. Which makes, to me, it's a little bit different scenario. Because they were an invitee of the owner of that premises. And they were utilizing it because they were enhancing their business by having that food truck there. It goes on in the city of Carthage too. If you'll notice, there's food trucks that will randomly locate on TSC property and right downtown Main Street. So yes, it doesn't directly go into the sales tax portion, but yes, there is an indirect benefit of the sales tax of established businesses that are already present. So I just have to say, just be mindful of that.
I see what you're saying. If we're bringing, if we're setting aside a business and we're bringing money to that business, then there may be a direct piece, but if they're taking business away from businesses in town, then there's sales tax loss there. So, if they're a competing piece, so just, I would really want us to look heavily into, is there a way we can write that so that if they're gonna do business in this town, we're gonna permit those pieces? Is there a way we can get sales tax dollars going back to this
And
county?
we're speaking of food trucks, correct?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Because anything else that's an established business is gonna be already paying taxes in this town.
I'll look at that with you.
We've got quite a bit of work with the road coming, a lot of, there's gonna be more pieces of individuals that likely a truck's gonna be easy to move out that way and make that piece. Just the thought there is we're losing dollars that we could be losing this county in that case.
You know, discussion on that? Yes, sir.
What's the status of the courthouse?
I think we can probably get in there next month. I think that compressor part, or compressor was supposed to be the 13th. Yes, sir.
Mr. Slee stated that they had input the compressor in Public Works the other night, so it had been put in.
Okay.
They had pulled a vacuum on the system, which pulling a vacuum means they pull everything out of it so that it no, at that point, it was testing for leaks. Pulling a vacuum is to put Freon back in. So that part had not been completed. They were gonna pull a vacuum. We met on Wednesday last week. They were gonna pull a vacuum on Thursday of last week. I hadn't heard past that.
In April.
I didn't say that. I just said what part, Mr. I just gave the report that Mr. Slee gave the other night. That's all I was doing. If there's no leaks and there's no issues, I'd say we ought to be finished with that part of it. I mean, that's what the part was needed. It sounds like it was fixed.
Any other
Last week.
discussion? Not public comment? Any public comment? I don't think anyone's here from the public. Not entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye. Thanks for being here. See you on Monday.